Hey gang, I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the history of the beef brisket. Well, way back when we started discovering barbecue, the choice cuts of meat, the stew meat, they were a little expensive. So if we had sharecroppers or people that were down on their luck a little bit and couldn't afford the fancy choice cuts of meat, they would go to the butcher and ask for whatever you can give me. Well, if you don't know, the brisket is a tough piece of meat. And a lot of times back then, the butcher didn't want to mess with it and couldn't sell it. So those people that would take whatever they could get, the most inexpensive cut of meat they had. Well, how do you cook a real thick, dense piece of meat? Low and slow, we all know that. Back before we had these fancy pits that we have today, the way they did it, they would dig a hole in the ground, start a fire down in that hole, and smoke and season low and slow that meat with that smoke and that indirect heat. Of course, just like today, it took hours and hours and hours. And that's exactly why we call our smokers pits, because they originally dug pits in the ground and put the meat over it to smoke it. Well, now we've got this brisket that's smoking for hours and hours and hours. And we don't have electricity, we don't have refrigeration. What are we gonna do with all this leftover meat? Well, guess what? I've got some neighbors that are on hard times and another family over here that can't afford very good meat. I've got a ton of it. I'm gonna invite them over. Maybe they bring over potatoes. Maybe they bring over veggies. Somebody brings the iced tea. Now we've got a community that's celebrating. And what are they celebrating? That low and slow 12, 13, 14 hours that that brisket's been smoking. And the celebration is once they carve into it. So there you go. There's a little history of the Texas brisket.